Howdy! How's everybody out there in YouTube land today? We got a few of them strolling in here. We got Al from Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. We got Dinah Ideals Caveatus. And well, I can't pronounce the rest of that, but bless your heart, I'm glad you're in there. We've got Awesome Wood Things in the house and in the house. Matt is with me here on the panel, and I'll turn him loose here in a minute so he can tell you all his news. We got Shane's Hobby Shop in the house. We got Julian B in the house. We got Rudy Mangrew Jr. in the house. Eddie Fort Fluffy is in the house. Drone Wolf Media in the house. Glad to have all of you in there, and I'm sure there's going to be a bunch more as this show gets advertised out there and all the notifications go rolling in and people start hitting the button. But glad to have everybody with me out here this evening. I hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a busy one. I did a craft show this weekend, and Lord have mercy, it was hard on this old lady. That place was covered up in young'uns. You never seen so many young'uns in your life. You couldn't have thrown a cat by the tail without hitting a dozen of them. There was all this mess of kids. Oh, my legs are black and blue from the kids bouncing off of me. They was thick. The homeschoolers was there. The field trip stuff from school. There, I don't know. There's dozens of buses there. Kids every place you looked. And Cheshire Cat just strolled in. Hey, Cheshire Cat, she likes my hat, Matt.
She does. I loved it too. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt.
There's Matt. Matt, go ahead and tell him all your news about this contest and stuff you're in.
Hey, yeah. So I'm a good friend of Brenda, recent friend, but we got real tight, real close because not surprisingly, we're alike in a lot of ways. But yeah, no, I have the channel Awesome Wood Things. I'm there in the chat as well. And I entered a contest. The contest is posting a YouTube video, and the number of likes on the video will be half the judging criteria. So I could win. If I win, I'm going to launch a business, get this, making wooden kinetic sculptures. So think, wall-sized pieces of art with many gears moving around and articulating all different kinds of ways. Planetary gears, the aperture, like the aperture on a camera, like I'll have those types of movements. I want to build this high-end business, maybe a few clients a year, and really drive it home. So in a moment, we'll get a link here in the chat. Brenda, I think what I'll do is I'll put that on the inside chat, and you could maybe paste it in the
I just left it in there, man.
Yeah, no, that's in the inside chat. If you could copy and paste that in the public chat, then people can go out there. And if you could just give me a like, that's all I'm asking, just a like. I mean, hey, you want to subscribe to Awesome Wood Things? That's fun too. But if you give me a like, that's half the judging criteria. I'll win a CNC carving machine, and that will help carve the gears. And I'll start a business making wooden artwork for high-end clients.
And he said I could come over and use it anytime I wanted to.
That's right. That's right. As long as I can use your little air carver. Your little
there
air
you
carver.
go. Share like.
We'll swap. We'll see. I'll get it every other weekend. We'll swap.
There you go. Yeah, I was ahead of you, Matt. I already slapped that link right up in there and told him go like it.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Load that video on YouTube, slap a like on it. That'd be a big help to me. Thank you.
You're perfectly welcome. Glad to have you here with me tonight. Let's see who else we got in there. We got Shorty Calvert. Hey, Shorty. Glad you're in there. Lord have mercy, girl. I ain't had time to get over there and see any of your work here lately. I've been up to my eyeballs and trying to do my thing for these craft shows. I got another one coming up this weekend.
That's a great YouTube name, Shorty.
Shorty Calvert. She's a sweet thing. She does some gaming and she does some live streams, and she's a sweet little girl.
Shorty, I just subscribed. There you go. I'm the 688th subscriber on your channel.
She's growing. She's a growing. Yeah. And I was looking up through here, and I don't see anybody else new that has strolled in. I don't think I missed anybody, but I'm old, Old people miss things. That's my excuse.
I can't use the old commentary because I'm a little bit younger than Brenda.
Yeah.
If you're 1 year younger, you can't go there. So
You're just a child, Matt.
Thank you for the compliment. It's not true, but thank you.
Oh, Lord. Well, I was young like you once too.
Hey, you know what they say.
Yeah, I know what they say.
Yeah.
Oh my God, here she comes. That's what they say.
Make sure you have bail money. Here comes Brenda.
I'd like to be, back to about 18 again and know what I know now.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, come on. Like the first trillionaire is going to make a Wayback Machine where you can go back and slap your teenage self, put some sense into it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the time, I thought I was making the right decisions and they turned out not to be. But, if I knew what I know now.
Well, it's just that you think you know it all. Like, you're 19 years old, it's like, a decade ago, you were 9.
Yeah.
What do you really know at 19? But,
and I get tickled at young ones that want to tell you how it is, and like, wait until you got a few years on you and you might change your attitude a little bit. But I don't say it. I'm polite and I just nod and grin.
Hey, if I'm asked, I'll give my opinion. I usually just don't, throw it out there. We've got some new people coming in. Works hard for MK3.
Hey, good to have you out there.
Suzanne Eggle. Hello. I'm Brenda's friend, Matt. Hi, everyone. All the new folks.
Yes. Suzanne, she's in Ireland.
Oh, nice.
And she's a good channel supporter, works hard for MK3, is a great supporter of mine. So, hey, all these people in this chat room, just, make friends with each other and go to supporting each other. Everybody in here are good supporters of channels.
Oh, can I say the slogan?
Sure.
Everybody, sub up, sub down.
There you go.
I don't know what sub down is, but do it. Use the little triple dots.
If you sub to somebody, then they sub back. So that's subbing up and subbing down.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I never put that together.
Yep, that's how I refer to it.
Okay, gotcha.
Everybody just making friends with each other, subbing to each other, supporting each other. Support is the big important thing here. And not everybody can support everybody else every day. We've got lives outside the internet. We don't all live in this box. So, don't get all upset if somebody doesn't come and visit one of your videos. Let them settle their life down. They'll be back. If they've been a good supporter in the past, they'll remain a good supporter in the future. Let them calm things down. I've been very guilty of that, getting ready for this craft show, where I have been very busy and trying to get things knocked out, trying to get stuff in the vehicle, get stuff to craft shows, sitting at craft shows, getting stuff back home, trying to get rested up. So
I don't know how you do it. I watched YouTube videos on how to run a craft show booth, and it's exhausting just learning all the ins and outs and do's and don'ts. I mean, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to learn. Like even little stuff like, isn't it true? Like whatever the price is, you don't change the price that show because someone's going to notice and read you the riot act if it got bumped up or bumped down. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to get away from doing the craft shows. I'd like to do all my stuff online. Is what I'd like to do. But hey, that's in the perfect world that apparently only exists inside my head because I'm still having to do the craft shows.
Well, you're on Etsy, right?
I'm on Etsy.
Okay.
I'm on Etsy, and I have the Patreon channel. I have the donation for PayPal thing that they can send to the PayPal me link. All that stuff's in the descriptions of my videos. But it's not like doing a craft show. When you're at a craft show, you got an audience right there for that set period of time, and that's where they hone in on your product. So, until things pick up with the internet stuff, then I'm going to be a slave going to these craft shows and, doing my thing with that. But, it's,
Isn't there a trade-off? If you're doing it on the internet, then you have to package everything up and then you've got a whole mail component to it. or
Yeah, and I don't mind that so much because I can do all that from home. You know, it's not like you having to load it all up and haul it all in and then deal with it all day and then bring it back home. And
got it.
that gets old quick, especially when you're ate up with arthritis and have cat paws. You know, my thumbs don't want to work because of the arthritis anymore. So I'm working with cat paws, and
my. I can only imagine.
People watch me try to paint, you know, and hold the paintbrush, and my thumbs just give out. You know, they're like, you know, you think you can do this, but we have a different idea.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
That's how I dropped the air compressor on my foot last year. Because I thought, you know, I can just pick this up and move it over here where I want it to go. Well,
the grip strength failing.
Yeah, the thumb just wasn't going to cooperate, and then the air compressor was going down, and my foot just happened to be there to break its fall.
You weren't wearing your steel-toed boots, were you?
No, I had house slippers on, but that wasn't
no.
that didn't make it bounce, you know.
See, what's the protocol? Because woodworker, I have a wood shop. I'm the Awesome Wood Things channel to all the new folks out there. You know, you've got to wear the protective footwear when you're in the shop because you never know what knife or heavy object. But you're like with the crafting, it's like, where do you draw that line? Or is slippers okay? Yeah. I guess not if you're hauling a 120-pound air compressor.
You know that feeling that you get when something happens right before the pain strikes, and you're like, "Oh, this is gonna hurt."
Right.
And then the pain hits you.
Like, oh, this in 5 seconds, this is going to be a different scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the big bone that runs right down the top of your foot to your big toe.
Oh, yeah.
It got that, and it got a blood vessel. And when it, you know, the blood vessel popped, of course, you know, top of your foot swells up like you got a tennis ball under your skin. And
the bone didn't break, did it? Was that the metatarsal? Like
yeah.
That, did it break?
It snapped. Yeah,
it snapped. The main one? The large one?
Yeah.
Oh, Brenda, that is horrible.
So, you know, and I don't go to doctors. I just, you know, taped it all up and set it myself and put on that boot and shuffled around with that stupid thing on for 6 weeks.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad that's past you.
Yeah, me too. I hope I don't break any more. No. It could have been worse.
I don't recommend dropping air compressors on your foot.
Yeah, it was funny. People ask me, how'd you do that?
See, now that's where you have to make something up to really get the surprise. Well, I was in a gang fight, or, you know.
I ran over it with my own vehicle.
I was driving my tractor pole at the...
I was pole dancing and fell off the pole.
A grizzly bear and I got in a tussle. So that's the game you got to play with. How ridiculous can you make it and have them still kind of... That's what I do.
I fell down the rabbit hole and caught my foot.
Yeah, maybe.
I was chasing a squirrel up a tree and I missed. And
so everyone in the chat room, like, go to other people's YouTube channels, subscribe if you're into it, subscribe back, make friends.
My Stocks came in the room. We say hey to her, Rusty Face out there. And let's see if I missed anybody else in here.
Oh, Rusty Faith. I missed that one.
Looks like I'm keeping up with everybody pretty good.
I'm Awesome Wood Things in the chat.
Yeah, this is Matt Haas from Awesome Wood Things. It's on here, the panel with me. I dropped the link up there in the chat, but I'll drop it again. Go over to his YouTube video and put a like on that for him, because he's competing in a contest, and part of it is how many likes he gets on that video.
Yeah, the number of likes is half the judging criteria, so slap a like on it. Yeah. It's a fun video because I say in the video, oh, if you're a friend of mine, slap a like on it. And then my other friend, Kelsey, I put her arm in front of the green screen with a cardboard cutout of a like icon, and she goes like this, and she did that once, and then I had her take the icon away and do it a second time. And then I drop the green screen out and I put it on the footage of myself talking. And then she has her hand coming like this. And when it gets here, then I switched it with her other hand without the icon, and she goes like that. So it looks like, whoosh, and I put the sound effect on. And I even did one of these when it was coming. I was like, huh? I looked, I was like, no, no, no. And people ask me, they're like, Matt, like how did, because I had just tape. Like it was a cardboard thumbs up, and I had tape on the back of it, and I just slapped it on my cheek. So I'm talking with it and it's bouncing around. And someone asked me, they're like, how did you get that perfectly synced with your, they thought it was digital. And I was like, no, I went old school. Masking tape on the cheek, baby. It was a cute effect. So I think on all my future videos at the end, I'm going to say something like, since I have awesome in my channel name, Awesome with Things, I think I'm going to say something like, if you thought this video was awesome, slap a like on it. And it, whoosh. No, please slap a like on the video. Anyway. Don't get in my head. It's a scary place up there.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too. People wonder how I come up with all the ideas for all the different crafts and stuff that I do. It's busy. It is very busy in my head.
Well, look who just joined us. Craft beer reviews.
Yeah, Billy Woods, Billy Craft Beer Reviews is in the house. We'll say hey to him. Glad to have you with us. He's got some good shows on too. He does some good reviews on the beer.
Nice.
And this is a plaque. I showed this on Simply Wooden Creations. Have I got that the right way? No. Yeah, I do. There it goes.
Right. That's right.
Making sure I got it faced the right direction. But yes, that's a plaque that I did with my engraving tool and a Dremel. And it's got the deer and the trees and the leaves and everything on it. And somebody told me the other day, said, man, that's awful busy. There's a lot going on in there. I said, that's because there's a lot going on in my head. You know, when I visualized it, it was like all these deer and they're in the woods and these trees and there's leaves all around and stuff. So I've compiled that all into that piece of wood and put all that on there. I said, you don't want to be inside my head because, man, I tell you what, there's some crazy things going on in there. Oh, they said they didn't see it. I didn't have the camera on me. So let me try that again. There's the deer plaque. So there's a lot going on in there. I got a bunch of trees and I got 6 deer on there, and there's leaves all around the border on it. And I did that with the Dremel and the power engraver. And then I stippled the background in the wood, and it's got 9 coats of triple thick Krylon on it. And that's all on a, show you the end of it. See, this is all a tree. That's bark from the tree. So there's the deer plaque. But yeah, that's how it is inside my head. There's just, you know, all these ideas that keep traipsing around in my head. And, you know, I've got some that they've been in there for like 20 years, and I'll get to them eventually if I live long enough. But it's coming across, you know, like the right hunk of wood, or, you know, the right medium that I need to work with, or the right thing that'll work together. Maybe the right carving tool or something to get a job done. I have unfinished objects all over this house that I have started, and then you get to a point where, okay, I can't do any more with this until it opens up to the point where I can continue with it, and I don't have whatever it is that's right to go on with this. So yeah, you know, I can relate to that inside the head thing.
That's good. Yeah, and they saw that the second time. There was some display issues. It was focused on me the first time, but I think they saw it that long second time that you showed it. And that was cool on Russ's show. I was in the audience during Russ's show, and it was awesome to see the air tool that you used to carve. Yeah, and how fast it goes. 400,000 times a minute.
Yep.
RPM. And look at that. Such a little unassuming thing. 400,000 times a minute that thing spins.
Yep, looks like just a little fat pin is what it looks like. But boy, I tell you what, there's a turbo motor in that, and that thing just flies.
It's an impressive piece of technology. It doesn't look impressive, but it is.
Yep. It sure does the job.
So what's the acronym we should use in the chat? Because you can't put the word sub in the chat because it won't YouTube make it invisible, only
I
visible
call
to
it
you?
bus.
Bus. Okay, so
Yeah.
bus.
You just do it backward.
Means sub. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We bust up, we bust down, the wheels on the bus go round and round. Get on the bus, Gus.
I love it.
Oh, works hard, likes my hat. Thank you. The hat thanks you. Mad Hatter thanks you.
There's no lead in that hat. That's the legend, right?
That's a legend. Yeah.
That's why they go mad, it's because of lead.
Well, the reason they call them Mad Hatters is because back when they were making hats in the factory, there was so many chemicals around that the people in the factories would get all hopped up on the chemicals and go mad.
And
so
lead.
They called them, yeah,
lead,
they
lead
called them
was...
Mad Hatters. Yeah. Now, see, when I was a kid, we used to chew on the woodwork. On it had lead paint in it. That explains a lot.
lead is sweet. It tastes sweet, so that's why kids will eat the paint chips. Is because it tastes like candy.
Yeah.
Did you know? Here's a fun fact about lead. We can maybe not talk about this top, but the Romans, the greatest empire at the time, they used to sprinkle powdered lead on wine to sweeten it. Just a little bit they would put on, purposely ingest lead in their wine because it made it sweet.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. Thinking about that, think about this. What are we doing today that in another 200 years, people are going to say, back
Plastic.
in the early 2000s, do you know that they used to put their food in plastic containers? Did you know that they used to put what do they call it, BPE or whatever it is inside the cans of their food?
Oh, yeah.
Did you know?
I'm out of aluminum now, baby.
They use gasoline in their vehicles. Did you know?
That's going to be the big thing. That's right. An explosive accelerant liquid called gasoline. They were crazy.
They rode around. They put that stuff in airplanes and they flew around in this torpedo-shaped thing in the air with all this stuff that blow them sky high. And they's already sky high.
You're right. You're right. Hydrogen will be next. Hydrogen propulsion. And that's everywhere. Half of everything there is hydrogen. We're never running out of it. Half of everything.
I'm waiting for them to be able to teleport us.
Yep.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yep.
I mean, can you imagine coming back in another 200 or 500 years to whatever technology that there is then and knowing what you know now about technology?
Be a freaky thing. All you have to do is go real fast. You go real fast one direction and then real fast back, and then it's at a different time. That's because the clocks don't go the same. That's the other thing I find fascinating when they put the GPS system in place. It wasn't working. And the reason it wasn't working is because time, when you're falling around the earth at 15,000 miles an hour, your clock ticks at a different rate than on the ground. It wasn't a mechanical issue. It was that time itself is different up in the stratosphere or above in low Earth orbit when you're screaming around the Earth at that speed. So they calibrated the clocks to tick differently, and then the GPS became accurate because it's all about the time it takes for the signals to bounce up. Amazing. And it's not science fiction. Like, that's the way it works.
And then like the time, what do they call it? Time continuum?
Yeah, the space-time continuum.
Right.
Yeah.
Holy smoke.
And
I have trouble just figuring out how to turn the computer on and off.
Yeah, time and space are the same thing. That's why they call it space-time. It's not two things, it's one thing. So time and space are, anyway, oh, look at this. Someone smashed the like button on my latest video and
there
busted
you go.
Your channel. I'm an advocate of pressing the like button and smashing the like button. Yeah.
Smash it like a bug.
Sometimes people tell me to smash the like button on their channel, and I only press the like button. I don't smash it. Then I have to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. I pressed the like button, but I wanted to smash it. I'll smash it next time. Just kidding.
Oh, it's like we got a couple new ones in here. Dio Brondo's in the house, and I think Blaziken's in there. Blaziken 219, see her in there. Blaziken's the one that did the banner for my channel. She's a sweet little girl, lives out in California.
That's a great YouTube name. Blaziken. That is fabulous. I like that name.
She does some games over on her channel, and she's on Twitch too. And I'll remind everybody, I'm on Twitch. You can subscribe to me over there. The URL for that's down in the description of the video too. Might as well get signed up over there. That way you have not only YouTube, but you got Twitch. And if there's nothing on over here on YouTube you like, you can come over there. A bunch of us are over there on Twitch now. And I'm also on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Patreon. I'm on Etsy. And every place you look, it's Brenda G's Designs. I'm trying to get so mad that I'm on everything, everywhere on the internet. No matter where you go, there I am.
At the same name, Brenda G's Designs.
That's right.
Yeah. Unlike my friend Al, who's in the chat room, he's got 4 or 5 social media presences, and each one's completely different than the next.
Well, he does that so that he won't be recognized. If somebody's mad at him one place, that maybe they won't be mad at him somewhere else. I know why he's doing that.
See, yeah. Here, I think we were doing something right, but yeah, he's probably ahead of us. I don't doubt it. I love you, Al.
Yeah, if they're mad at me here, they're going to be mad at me everywhere. But I don't care. They can get as mad as they want. They'll get glad in the same pants they got mad in.
It comes down to Kilroy was here, yeah. So. See, he's got a Kilroy thing. Some of his names have the zip code where
yeah.
It's like, ow. You're killing me here, man. You're killing me.
I thought when I started to name my channel, I thought about just calling it BR549.
Oh, see, that might work for a gaming channel, but that doesn't.
I figured the young people would never recognize that. So you don't know what that is, do you? Back on Hee Haw, there used to be this show on TV called Hee Haw, and that was a big joke on there because Junior Samples was running like this used car lot, and he'd do these mock commercials about the car lot, and he'd hold up a sign, and it was always upside down, and he said, "You can call me at BR549." See, now when you understand it, it's funny. But I thought, if I used that, then nobody'd understand what it was.
I could understand most of the 80s TV references, but Hee Haw, I didn't watch.
Yeah, that was back in the day. That was before you sweet young thing, you.
Welcome back, Carter. I like the Les Nessman on WKRP. That show was ahead of its time.
Yeah. That is iconic, and they'll never be forgotten for their Thanksgiving episode.
I know, where they threw out the turkeys on the. And
when they walk back into the studio and they're looking all disheveled because they've had the holy hell beat out of them, they're saying, "With God as my witness, I thought turkeys could fly."
Yeah. On the show, as a promotion for the radio, they threw live turkeys out of a helicopter. They thought they could fly. They all splat on the ground.
I was over the grocery store parking lot, and Corliss is out there trying to do the news commentary.
Les Nessman. Love it. Yeah.
The turkey just went through a windshield of a car. It's mayhem out here. People are running for their lives.
That might be the best episode of a sitcom of all time.
Yeah.
Definitely the top 20. Definitely.
Yeah.
Top 20. Crazy stuff.
Oh, it's like we've had Warriors Fame Gaming. Like I can talk today. Warriors Fame Gaming in the house. Glad to have you in there. I'm looking, I don't see anybody else new that come in, but if you snuck in on me and I didn't see you, I say hey to you anyway. And let's see. Backwoods Billy says, I can't figure out Facebook. I keep getting online hookers to join my Facebook. I've done nothing to encourage this. My wife cannot stop laughing. Oh, he says he believes it's based on gender and his age. It could be you're just so good looking, Billy. I mean,
You just don't accept those friend requests.
Yeah. Now, I've had pretty much the same problem, only different gender with Instagram. When I signed up for Instagram, the idea was that I'd be able to list some of my art on there. Well, as luck would have it, you can't do that on a laptop. You have to have a smartphone to be able to put the pictures and stuff up there. And I've had 3 or 4 people try to help me with it, and everybody's come to the same conclusion that I'm going to have to get a smartphone if I'm going to do what I need to do on there. But I can send messages, I can message back and forth with people and stuff, and apparently they can message back and forth with me. And I've had a lot of gentlemen thinking that I was on there for some kind of a dating extravaganza, and I had to set that straight and put a big block on those fellers. But yeah.
I don't have all the details, but Instagram just made a public announcement about tools for the computer that you can engage with the platform now. So they're moving it away from exclusively smartphone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know all the details, but I think you can post now from a computer. I don't know if you have to have a business account, because that's a different thing. I should really know a lot more about Instagram. That's one thing I'm kind of falling down on.
Once the craft show's over Saturday, next week I'll have to put some time into checking that out and seeing what I can find out about that, see what I have to download to be able to do that. Because, I thought, I had several people tell me, you have to have Instagram for what you're doing. You have got to have Instagram. You're never going to go anywhere unless you have Instagram.
Well, it's a visual medium, so that's perfect for you.
Yeah, I'm thinking, if it's that important, I guess I'll get it. So I downloaded it to the computer, and I spent 2 or 3 days trying to figure out, okay, how do I get a picture on here? And I couldn't, unless you can take a picture of yourself, with your laptop. You can snap a picture to put on there. That's not what I was wanting to do. I wanted to take a nice looking picture of a piece of artwork and then post it to Instagram. I don't want to have to hold it, up in front of the camera and, say, okay, here's a picture that I painted, and try to take a picture of that.
Don't ever take a picture of your
that's
monitor.
Awful. So I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And so I contacted several people that do Instagram and said, can you help me with this? And they said, well, on your phone. I said, no, on the computer. I'm like, well, do it on your phone. I said, I have a flip phone. I'm a grandma, okay? We are dark ages dinosaurs over here.
Time to upgrade, Brenda.
It'll take a picture, but it don't do internet stuff, okay? So
upgrade. Time to upgrade. No, I would just Googling, because it's now more computer friendly. I don't know how much more, if it's 100% or partial, but they're moving it, because it wasn't.
Okay.
You're right. It was not. It was an app. It was a mobile app. That's what it was. Yeah. That's kind of what it has been since the beginning. And but yeah, no, I post and I like and I comment, but that's about it on Instagram. I hashtag. I tried and hashtag stuff, but yeah, there's
I haven't
courses.
I post my videos on it once in a while. I do that once in a while, but I use Twitter more for posting, Twitter and Facebook, Google Plus a little bit, Pinterest. So there's another one, I think.
Is Google Plus still a thing?
It's still there, but it
used to be big with photographers. It had a great interface for photography, but I even think they're kind of moving away from it now.
It's a big deal for the news, the alternate news media people. They like to use Google Plus a lot for posting things. The Exploring with CF is in the house, and Cast One, I'm backwards again. One Cast One Fish in the house. Lord, you can tell that I've had a rough weekend, can't you?
Yeah. Hi, all the new folks. I'm Brenda's friend, Matt, from Awesome Wood Things. Hello.
One Cast One Fish put a video up earlier today. They got a big fish.
Nice.
On there.
What are the percentages of one cast, one fish versus multiple cast, one or no fishes?
Well, I'd say that, he's probably 1 in a million there if you one cast and one fish. I've been fishing and cast all day, not come up with nothing. So Except some aggravation, maybe a wet behind from sitting there trying to catch a fish all day.
Right, right. Isn't that
I
more
do
about
better.
the 6-pack of beer you have in the boat than actually fishing?
I
From
do
what I'm
better with a
told.
net. Take a net out there. I can pick them up in a net.
Shane could give us some knowledge. He's a fisherman. Shane Cole from
You,
Shane's Hobby Shop.
you pick a nice clear body of water and you ease the boat over a school of fish. You ease that net down in the water and you scoop you up a bunch of them.
Oh, you forgot step number 1 is to throw the grenade in the swamp.
Stick of dynamite, fishing with a stick of dynamite.
One cast, one fish says 100%. I'm a beast. I am a beast for the percentage.
Shane's out there. I need a bass boat.
He does. He does need a bass boat. He showed me the bass boat he wants. It's more like a kayak type of thing, but hey, that's what
A
he wants.
kayak.
It's
Lord
yeah,
have mercy.
it's more like a canoe.
Now Shelly could get him one of those kayaks. Just don't get him the paddle.
Push him out there. That's a way to get rid of him for a couple days as he kind of floats the floor randomly.
I got a friend down in Florida that her and her husband went and got kayaks, and I've teased her and teased her and teased her. I said, yes, he got 2 kayaks, he got 1 paddle, and you ain't getting it. Every time they get a big flood down there, I tell her, get the kayaks out. You better run to the store and get you a paddle before you can't get there no more. So you ain't going to let you have this.
Oh my gosh. My wife and I, when we were dating before we were married, we went canoeing with a couple other couples. 9 miles up the river, we were canoeing. One couple per canoe, and I was convinced if she rowed on the left and I was rowing on the right, if we did it equally, we would go in a straight line. Apparently, that's not the case. So we were like this the whole. Because I was just convinced the physics of it should work. But no, because I didn't want to keep flipping it. I just wanted to, I'll just work this side, you work that side. And I was so stubborn. I'm like, we're going to get it to work. The physics have to work out. I've done the math. Reality was different.
Yep.
So that was not a good time.
The power of her strokes and the power of your strokes were 2 different things.
Yep.
The pistons behind those oars were not working equally.
So I said from that point forward, I'm like, wherever we go, there needs to be indoor plumbing and Wi-Fi. If those 2 conditions don't equal true, I'm out.
Fred Durst came in the room and he says, I can kayak upside down for like 20 minutes.
Fred Durst from the band?
I don't know. Maybe so.
We've got famous people in the house. Let's see.
But Fred, now, can you smoke and do that at the same time? So I guess it would depend on where your kayak is. If your kayak's upside down in the water, or is your kayak upside down hanging from the rafters in the barn?
Fred, do you have a band called Limp Bizkit? Can you sing Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, please? Yeah.
I don't know if I said hey to Warrior Space Gaming or not, but I'll say hey to them because I see their name up there.
Oh,
so many of them come and go that I don't remember who I've said hey to or not. That's easy to believe coming from me because I can't remember, what I did 5 minutes ago.
Well, gaming's huge on Twitch, but they're starting to get big on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Shane says he's infinite. He's infamous. So Fred says no. He's never checked. I suppose he's never checked if he was in the band Limp Bizkit. I think you would know if you were in the band Limp Bizkit.
I think that was a smoking. He's never checked to see if he could smoke underwater.
Oh. It's hard to follow the chat and be on the panel at the same time. Yeah, no. My son used to listen to that song, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor, when he was playing Halo 3 and he was wasting everyone. And they would let the bodies hit the floor.
I tried to teach my cockatiel to say that, but I never could get him to say that. He has a very select vocabulary. Yeah, Suzanne's leaving us. I say hey to her. You try to stay warm over there in Ireland.
Thanks for the sub. She subbed my channel. Awesome with things. Appreciate that.
She's a sweet lady. Today was her birthday, too. Happy birthday to you, Suzanne, if you're still listening.
Happy birthday. If she's in the States, she still has some birthday left.
Nope, she's over in Ireland.
Oh, that's right. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, no, it's 40 minutes past her birthday.
Do they celebrate?
No, it's 4 hours now because of daylight saving time. She has 20 minutes of birthday left.
Do they celebrate St. Patrick's Day over in Ireland?
Oh, yeah.
Or do we just celebrate it over here? I thought maybe it was just, we celebrated over here and they wish they could.
According to the movie Boondock Saints, they celebrate it in Ireland and here. That's where I get all my knowledge of Ireland from, is Boondock Saints.
Well, there's a lot of holidays we celebrate here that they don't celebrate in other parts of the world. So,
it's funny.
Just because it's an Irish holiday don't mean they celebrate it over there.
I was on the phone with, or on a conference call with some executives at work. It's a English company that bought where I work, and they were like, "Oh, I understand it's an American holiday on Thursday." They're talking about Thanksgiving, and I was like, "Oh yeah, thanks for giving us independence from your country." I was like, awkward. Oh, Matt, you're so funny. Oh. And they never invited me over to the corporate office. All my team has been there at one point or the other in Harlow, in England, and nope, never quite made it out there yet. One day I will.
Well, they've heard of you, and that's why they don't invite you.
Yeah, they want me as far away from corporate as possible. You made that crack about Thanksgiving, the American holiday. We remember that. That was 10 years ago. Sorry, my accent's horrible, people. I should not do accents. But
now, there's a lot of people that's planning on celebrating on St. Patty's Day coming up there on Saturday. My Saturday's going to be up at the craft show, and then I'll come home
at the Atlanta woodworking show. And there's a craft show right next door to the woodworking show. For $10, I'm all in.
That's cool.
Because an awesome wood things wood shop, I make a lot of small crafts, so I'm all over it.
Yeah,
I'll probably take more photos over on the craft side than I will on the woodworking.
Yeah, I wish I could go, but I'm a poor girl and can't afford it. But wow, that sounds like a great time.
Yep. I went last year, and one of the woodworkers is having people over to his home/wood shop, and he did it last year, and it was a good time.
Free beer?
Yeah. There's a tip jar. You just pay whatever you want or nothing. If you don't got any money, you're not gonna pay anything. But I always fill the tip jar up because I partake in the frosty stuff. Give me some good drinks and some woodworkers, and I'll go all night.
I imagine there's going to be some good stories coming back from that show.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to the after parties from Rush's show when everybody tells all the tales.
Yeah.
The ones I can't tell on the air.
That's right. There's some good post-show conversations on some of these panels. That's what you should do. Everyone out there on chat room land, start your own YouTube hangout, and then afterwards, a lot of good stories will come out.
Yeah, I don't know how many people even know about that. If you're doing a live show and you're doing it through Hangouts, you get people up on your panel, and then after the show goes off, you just hit the stop broadcast button. It stops broadcasting out to the world. And then the panel sticks around after the show and tells stories and lies and whatever.
Yeah, then it's just like a private hangout afterwards. After the
Yeah,
but the thing is, you hit the stop broadcast, you can't restart it. So there's like
that's right.
no redos.
Yep.
That can
Yeah,
get
and
ugly.
I'm hoping that they get all their bugs worked out of this system too, because so many times you start the broadcast and then something goes wrong with it. You know, your picture don't go up or your audio ain't working or whatever, and then you have to restart your broadcast and you have to restart it in making a whole new show and try to get the word out to everybody. That's happened to Green Bay Wacky a couple times in the last couple of weeks where he's had to restart the show and trying to get all the people from his chat room into the new show, that isn't always, well, it doesn't always work real smooth. It's not a smooth transition. So I don't know, they need to get some bugs worked out of this thing and get it working a little better.
Thankfully, I haven't had too many technical problems. They just rolled out some more features. The chat room is now persistent when your stuff goes on your channel as a recording. The chat is there too, and it will replicate the messages in real time. Well, it's synced with the timestamps of when it actually happened.
Yeah, and I'm not liking that. I think the chat, now this is my personal opinion, everybody's, got their own way of doing it, but I don't like that. I think the chat should be private, that it's during your show and people should feel free to say whatever they're going to say. And I don't like that YouTube has the ability to come in and censor whatever goes on in your chat. I see that going to be a big issue, especially with monetization, because they want to censor everything that goes on your show. And if the chat is showing up as recorded to the show, they'll be censoring that too. So I'm not liking that.
They'll drop words out of your messages.
Yeah. So, there is supposed to be a way you go back in after the show to the advanced tab and you can check or uncheck a box or something that takes the chat off of your live stream.
I didn't know that was an option. That's cool.
So, yeah. I'll be using that if they start putting the chat on my show.
I'll probably keep the chats on my shows. Yeah,
some people like it, but I see it being an issue, and I don't like the censorship thing. For them to talk about your monetization and all that. As a matter of fact, I was going to play some of Technetic's music on the show tonight. I'll put that off till next week now, but I played H-Top last week. And then I got a do better from YouTube saying that one of the songs in H-Top's playlist that I was playing is monetized on another channel, and that I didn't have to do anything to change it as long as I don't monetize that show. Well, like there's any danger of that happening when I'm not qualified for monetization, so I just kind of looked at that and thumbed my nose at it and went on. But I thought, well, okay. So I talked to Technetic today. I said, is there any danger of me playing some of your music and getting tagged over it? And he said that as long as I didn't play something and let it roll over onto somebody else's music, I'd be okay. So I was going to play some of it. But, hey, things changed last minute and all that. But I'll play some next week.
Copyright's big.
Yeah.
Big, what do they call it? Can of hurt.
Yeah. Well, see, this wasn't even copyrighted. This was one of H-Top's songs, but somebody's playing it on their channel and it's monetized. So since it's monetized over on their channel, I can't have it over on my channel. And I can only have it on my channel as long as it's not monetized. And I'm like, well, it's not like you guys are knocking down my door to give me monetization, so I don't think I'm going to worry about it.
No, as long as they don't black the channel out, or not the channel, the video out. As long as the video is still available, then you're good. Some things they won't let it show up. I had one where it wouldn't play in Germany. The jump from Van Halen.
Mm-hmm.
Won't play in Germany, but it'll be visible in the States. Not monetized, of course, but it's weird.
I put a video up private on my other channel, on my Brenda Gibson channel. Been a couple years ago now, I put it up. I put it up private because I wanted to edit it before I made it public. And the only way for me to be able to do that is that I put it up, or at least, the way I knew how to edit it, was to put it up on YouTube as private, and then I could pull out whatever I needed to pull out of it and do what I wanted to do. So I loaded it up on YouTube private. Before I could edit it, they flagged it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because of like a 15-second spot in it where there was music playing on a boombox in the background, Tear in My Beer by Hank Williams. I hadn't even edited it yet. That was part of it that was going to be pulled out of the video.
You can pull the audio out while it's uploaded? Because I know you have some audio controls. I've never messed with them because I do all the audio editing in the
You could back then. You can't now. They changed a whole bunch of stuff that you can't edit it through YouTube anymore. Now you have to do it in a private editor.
Everything's instant. It doesn't matter what the privacy setting is. They're still going to analyze it. And if you do some nastiness and you delete the video, you're thinking, oh, then that doesn't count anymore. No, they still remember. So you can have some copyright trouble. But just you deleting the video off the platform doesn't mean that they forget that there was issues. But
I went ahead and edited it and got it, the way I wanted, and then I made it public, and they took the strike off. But I'm like, it wasn't even public yet.
It wasn't a channel strike. It was just they demonetized you, right?
No, it was a strike. It was an actual strike.
That's serious.
Yeah.
It's 3 and you're out.
Over a private video. Well, I'm like, you guys can't be serious about this. And I went ahead and did what I had to do. But when I made it public and I had that out of there, they took the strike away. But, I'm like, how can you do that on a private video that, it's not like everybody's seeing it. It's just for me to be able to deal with here. But that's what they did to me. And then
it's easier for the Python script to just analyze everything than to analyze something only on when a certain condition equals true. When video does not equal private, then, it's just, it's more headache for them. They just might as well just do the analysis on everything easy peasy. That's the thing about Google and YouTube in general. It's an army of Python scripts. Like that's what the whole company was built off of. It's all algorithms.
Oh, and I'll mention while I'm thinking about it, if anybody needs view time, go to any one of my videos and put in there "in it to win it" in the comments, and I'll put you on the list if you're not already on there, so that I can play your videos. And if there's anybody out there that is interested in helping channels that need some view time, if you have some extra bandwidth and wouldn't mind playing some videos for folks, let me know that too. Tell me you need the list. Just say, I need the list. Just put it in the comments on any of my videos and I'll see it. And then I will get you the list. And that way you can help some of these channels out too that need playtime. There's four channels right now that are helping with the playtime list. So we can always use more. And I don't know that I've got probably a couple dozen channels that need help with playtime. So, we're doing what we can to try to support each other and help each other out. If you can help, or if you need help, either way, in it to win it, or give me the list.
Yeah, that'll help get the watch time where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that might be the unintended consequence of their partner program readjustment, is that people are going to find ways to grab what they need on the new requirements, watch time or subs. And, Shane's in it for the bass boat. You need 1,000 subscribers, you need 4,000 watch hours and a bass boat to be in the partner program.
Shane's going to be out of the partner program because he ain't got that bass boat.
Oddly enough, that's only the requirement for his channel. No other channels to see how.
He needs to check and see if Publishers Clearinghouse is giving away any bass boats over there. And pull up in front of his house someday with a bass boat hooked to the back of the car.
I wonder if Amazon will ship you a bass boat.
Oh, I imagine they would. They ship about everything, don't they?
Pretty much. It would be impressive if they hooked it to their drone and then delivered it that way.
pretty soon it'll be the drone dropping it off on your doorstep.
Have you seen the concept for that? They give you a little piece of paper that's the Amazon logo. You put it in your yard, and then the drone drops it on the paper.
No, I haven't seen that.
No, yeah, no. They give you like a 12 by 12 sheet with like the Amazon logo on it, and you stick it in a clearing on your property, and then the drone flies over and catches that logo in its camera, and then if it's clear, it goes down and then telescopes the last 12 feet with the with the little winch, and then drops your package on the photo, and it pulls the winch back up and then takes off.
What if you don't have a 12 by 12 spot in your yard? I mean, there's people live in apartments and everything. What if you don't have a spot you can?
Well, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, apparently.
But you don't need UPS. That's the thing,
Yeah, the little wheels in my head are going around about where could I put that? Because I don't think I have any 12 by 12 spots in my yard that are clear for putting anything.
Shane says, go ahead and buy me a bass boat. He'll let you know when it arrives and how it arrives from Amazon. All right, we'll do that experiment.
Yeah, I've got garden, I've got trees and bushes and landscaping and all kinds of stuff here on my little lot. And I don't think there's any place where I could put a 12 by 12.
Some comedians were coming out and they were like, oh, like that's a good business plan. Like I want, a machine with 4 swirling blades coming down at eye level and dropping off packages.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a point there.
But no, it does go like, 24 feet up, and then it telescopes down the pack. So the blades should be above the tallest human. But anyway.
Yeah, I've got several folks that have drones that come to my shows all the time. I haven't seen any of them in here tonight, but I've teased around with some of them fellers about their drones. I've said I'd love to have one, but A, they're too expensive for me, and B, I'd be in trouble if I had one, because I would be doing all kinds of things that I shouldn't be doing with that. They've already warned me that, hey, the FAA, they monitor this stuff. You're going to get in trouble. But yeah, this area is ate up with squirrels. Me and the squirrels are constantly at war. They tear up my landscaping. They eat all the heads off my tulips. That me and the squirrels do not get along. And so if I had a drone, I'd be chasing squirrels all over this neighborhood.
Well, you need to put a Gatling gun on it. And just
the squirrels would not know what hit them if I had a drone. And I'd be looking in all the neighbors' windows. I'd be looking for an open window to steal their cookies. Wow. And there's a police station right down the street. So that I would be having that thing looking in all the windows down at the cop shop. I'd be in so much trouble.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to get in trouble with the drone because they classify it as a balloon. Anyway, we got some new people at the DIY channel. CJ, the traveling man. Hello.
Yeah, there's some of them in here.
I'm Brenda's friend Matt from Awesome Wood Things. She invited me on the channel just to chit chat. Good to see everyone.
We'll put the camera on Matt so they can see who he is since they got in here a little late. But yes, this is Matt, and I will drop that link back in the chat again. There is the link to Matt's video. He would love for everybody to go over there and drop a like on that video.
It's a contest entry.
And 50% of the
judging.
There you go. Is dependent on the likes he gets on that video. So get over there and drop a like on that video for him. Help him out a little bit.
I would love to win that contest. I will launch a business making wooden kinetic sculptures if I win. So I think
very cool. Very cool. Yeah, Shane says that he's sure the sheriff loves me. Well, I haven't had any problem with the sheriff. It's the chief of police in this town that I've had the issue with. Mr. Chief Weed Be Gone. Me and him don't see eye to eye.
The chief is not someone you want on your bad side because they can make your life.
No, he's found out that it's the other way around with me. And when he sees me, he goes the other way. Yeah.
You'll have to teach me your secrets then, because I could use some of that knowledge.
Yeah, they got an ordinance. Well, I was telling this to them on the after show over on Russ's channel the other night about I'd been here a couple of years, and this is back when I was working. It was before I retired, and I was putting in like 12 and 18-hour days, but I was working from home, so I'd catch a nap and I'd get back to work. Well, one afternoon, I'm in here tending my own business, doing my work, and there's a doorbell. I thought, well, who in the world's coming? Nobody ever comes to visit me. So I go to the door, and chief of police is standing there. And first thing that dawned onto me was, somebody's dead. The cops will show up at your door to tell you, somebody's died or something. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? So I opened the door up and I said, yeah, can I help you? And he says, do you know that there's a ordinance in this town against weeds?
What's the police chief doing chasing down weed issues? Doesn't the police chief have more important things to do than do lawn issues?
Well, the first thing that popped into my mind is this has got to be a joke. Somebody is pranking me, So I'm looking out the door both directions, where's the camera? Because I knew that this had to be some kind of a joke. And I look at him and I said, no, I wasn't aware of that. What does that have to do with me? And he says, well, there's a weed growed up behind your garage back on the alley. And we have an ordinance in this town against having weeds in your yard. And I said, well, I was not aware that there was a weed back there, but I will certainly check into it. And he said, well, you have that taken care of in like 3 days, or I'll be back here to give you a citation.
Oh, they're supposed to protect and serve.
Yeah, I said, are you seriously, you got to be kidding me about this. This isn't serious. And he says, no, I'm dead serious. And I said, well, who complained? Well, it was an anonymous complaint. And I said, well, apparently you don't know who you're dealing with, because I know better than that. I know that if you think you're going to issue a citation on this, that somebody has complained and you know who it is, because you can't make a citation stick on an anonymous complaint. But I'll take care of the weed. And so I closed the door and I go back, look behind the garage, and this weed was only like, 6 or 8 inches tall, growed right up against the foundation of the garage.
Oh my goodness.
So I pulled the weed, and the longer I thought about it, the madder I got. Well, the next day I had a company in here to put a privacy fence around the backyard, and I had another guy coming in to chop down every bush around the house, and I had another company coming in to put mulch down on the front yard. And, I thought, we're going to get this yard mowing and all this weed, whatever their problem is, down to a bare minimum. If they think that they're going to harass me over a weed behind the garage, they're sadly mistaken. So I waited about a week, see if this cop was going to come back and say anything to me, and he didn't. So I called him, and you couldn't get a hold of him on the phone. So all you could get was an answering machine. So I'm leaving him messages. I say, hey, you's over here. You stirred this up about this weed. Now I want to talk to you. I've got some questions for you. And he would not call me back. And this went on for about a week with me leaving him messages. And since he wouldn't call me back, I thought, well, he is the chief of police and he's not an elected official. That means that he has been appointed this position. Somebody had to appoint him, and that would be the mayor. So guess what I did? Yeah, I did. And of course, you couldn't get a hold of the mayor either. You get an
city council and the mayor.
So the mayor, and he got my message. It took him about 5 minutes to light a fire under the chief of police, who called me back and asked me just who in the hell I thought I was to go to the mayor about him. Well, then I proceeded to tell him. And then I told him, and I told him, and I told him, and I told him how it was going to be.
Wow.
And to this day, if he sees me coming out to get mail, if he happens to be driving down the street, he turns around and goes the other way.
All right. So it's the nag a person to death routine. I think I'm getting it.
It's like, don't bother an old lady when she's tending to her own business over some trivial matter. He would have been better off if it was him that seen the weed, just go back there and pull the weed out, and he could have avoided all of that. If my yard hadn't been mowed, if it looked like, she must be dead in the house, she ain't been out for a month or two, then it would be a different issue. But the yard was mowed. Everything was under control here except one little weed behind the garage.
Not to make excuses, but he was probably like, he needed to show he did some sort of interaction. He wasn't just sitting in his car. and there probably wasn't anything going on. So like he had to put something in the logbook. So that's why he knocked on the door. You know what I mean? There's probably something stupid like that. But who knows? Who knows?
Well, see, he could have just told me that rather than throwing his weight around, that I'm the chief of police and I'm here to enforce this ordinance on you over having a weed back in the alley behind your garage. Lord have mercy. I'll issue you a citation. What in the world? Oh, my attitude was, look, if there isn't anything more important going on in this town that deserves your attention more than me having a weed behind the garage, you don't need a job.
So what you should do is you should not pay the citation and then seek your day in court, and then he himself would have to show up in court. So then you could at least break up his day and have him appear in court over the citation. Like take an hour out of his day.
Yeah, well, he even said there when I finally got him on the phone, well, I should have just issued you a citation. I said, come over here and give me one. Come on, make my day. Give me one. Let's go. I want to go to court with you. Come on.
Note to self, don't get in law enforcement and don't issue Brenda citations.
It was kind of like, well, she's too anxious. I don't think I better do that.
Al wants to know what type of weed was it? Just asking, question mark.
It was a green one. I don't know. It was just a green weed that had grown up there against the foundation.
It wasn't anything illegal. It was nothing. And it didn't happen on the hour 4:20 either.
That's right. I should be so lucky.
My one friend had a plant that looked like a marijuana plant, but it wasn't. But from afar, it looked like it was. And there were all kinds, like 2 or 3 times a year, they'd get knocks at the door from police that were driving by the house, and they'd be like, "You can't have that." And they're like, "Whoa, what? It's a different Bacchia, it's not."
Yeah, they did an episode on Three's Company about that very thing. When Mrs. Roper was making a plant arrangement, a flower arrangement thing for her group that she belonged to, and was displaying it at the some kind of a civic center or something. And so somebody told them that it was cannabis, and here she was already set up at the show. And so they're running up to the show to try to get this flower arrangement removed. And she doesn't know what's going on. And it was fake cannabis, whatever the terminology is.
It's a lookalike.
Yeah.
That was a funny show. You know what? So what's her name? Chris, the blonde one. What was that character's name?
Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
Suzanne Summers.
So she had a troubled career, and when they had kicked her off the show, they wrote her off the show, and to make money, she was taking her Chrissy act to Vegas, and she was portraying that character for her own financial gain, and that's when they figured out that it was intellectual property of the TV like that. A case like that hadn't existed yet. So it was Three's Company, the actress from Three's Company, who really brought intellectual property to the forefront of the legal system in America. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. She's been known for a lot of different things, though.
And then she did the what was it? The exercise where you pressed your knees together. What was that called?
The Thigh Master.
Thigh Master. That's right. Once they booted her out of Vegas, she sold the Thigh Master for money.
And she has been known for the last few years of bringing information out into the open about gluten-free recipes and people having problems with gluten in their diets. She's done some other health type videos and issues and stuff too over the internet.
She did like eggs in the 80s. Like it was either the horrors of eggs or the virtues of. I'm like, you're an actress. Why are you're not? Are you a nutritionist? I didn't quite get it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, pretty much. She does a lot of things that have to do with nutrition and weight loss and all that, trying to keep your body in tone. Not that I've ever followed any of it. You know, hey, I'm a fat girl and I enjoy it.
Mom from Knows What Mom Knows says she wasn't allowed to watch Three's Company, but she found a way to watch it. You sneaky little thing, you. Running around your parents' back. Shame on you. No, just kidding. Well, that was the big controversy because the whole thing was Jack, the man, he was pretended to be homosexual just so he could get the apartment. He was straight, but that was taboo back then.
Yeah.
Never had a problem with it, but that was the time. That time of the
Gas Nation came in. I'll say hey to Gas Nation. And Shelly, she's been in there for a little bit. I've seen her in there.
Hi, Gas Nation. I'm Brenda's friend Matt from Awesome Wood Things, just chatting with her.
Shelly is Know What Mom Knows, in case anybody's in there that don't know who she is by now.
She will one day buy Shane a bass boat.
She's famous for the Sawdusto. If you don't know what that is, go over to her channel and check that out.
Shelly was not allowed to watch Three's Company because Jack lived with 2 women. Oh, the horror.
That came along after my stint at home. And I would not have been allowed to watch it either, you know, if I'd been younger. There's, you know, not a whole lot of shows that I couldn't watch. We only had 3 channels on the TV, and one of them was snowy so bad that you could hear it, but you couldn't see it.
That's right. Yeah, channel 8, 27, 21. That was it.
Yeah, 7, 2, and sometimes 12 is what we had. And I was talking to Matt a little bit about this before the show, when before we got the show started, that y'all now, you know, you have remote controls. You just point at the TV and click the clicker. Well, we didn't have that. You know, the television had a dial on it, and you had to go over and dial your channel in. And the kids were the remote control. We'd sit at the foot of Dad's footstool, and if he wanted the channel changed, he'd tap us with his foot. And that meant get up and change the channel.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd stay over by the TV in case he didn't like what was on the other channel, because you'd have to change it back.
My uncle was a appliance salesman, so he had the latest TVs, and he had a TV with the clicker, and the clicker, get this, it was just audible. So it would just make a loud sound, and the computer in the TV would listen for the sound and then roll the channel up one. That's all. Like, you go like this, whack, like you could clap, and it would do the same thing. That's why, if you ever heard it called a clicker, like, that's why, because the first one, it was just an audible click, click.
Oh, that is too funny. Oh, man. No, we had, we got one of the new TVs when it came out that was called the Quasar Works in a Drawer. Did you ever hear of them?
No.
Yeah, it was, the TV was a console TV, and all the components was in this panel that if they ever had to work on it, they could pull this panel out of the TV front, and all the parts was right there on both sides of it. It resembled a tower computer, but it was the drawer that pulled out and had the components on both sides of it, and they take these computerized panels out and replace them with new ones. But it was kind of a tubeless TV, right, as far as, you know, all the little glass tubes and stuff that the old ones had in them. But yeah, Quasar Works in a Drawer.
The chat room's asking about Makers Rock. Oh, and Mobile Madness just showed up. Hi, Mobile Madness. I'm Matt, Brenda's friend. Awesome Wood Things. They're asking about Makers Rock. That is a once a year collaboration where people who have workshops recreate album art from a particular decade. We chose the 90s. So you remember the 12 by 12 albums, you know, a record album with the vinyl. Mm-hmm. That's what we
33 1/3.
So we recreate those album covers, and then we give them away on our channel. So tomorrow, my promo video is going up, kind of pitching the whole thing. And then a week, the 20th, Tuesday the 20th, my build video will show up. So I did a rock and roll album. It's going good. There's over 30 makers in the in the collaboration. It's just for fun. I mean, there's no money, there's no, and then we give away the albums. Makersrock.com is the website, but just yeah, if you follow any woodworking or maker channels on the 20th of March, Tuesday the 20th, you'll see 30 videos of people making album covers. I think it's really cool. Who doesn't like rock and roll? And so it's rock. It's Makers Rock, so it's not jazz or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong. Need to do an 8-track season. 8-track. 8-track had quad where it could control each one of the 4 speakers separately. That was it. You know, say what you will about 8-track, but they had.
I was there when 8-track came out. I had an 8-track in my car, and I've still got a couple 8-tracks laying around here someplace. I don't have an 8-track player, but I've got a couple 8-tracks laying around here. You know, just one's sentimental to me. But yeah, I remember when 8-track came out. That was a big deal. I was in high school, and everybody had an 8-track player in their vehicle.
Yeah, the thing about 8-track was you had to flip it over, and there was only fast forward, wasn't there? Like if you wanted to rewind, you had to put it in the opposite way and hit fast forward, which was really rewind. But yeah, that was a weird technology, and I think there wasn't much stress on the tape itself because it was all looped. Like like the cassette, there's, you know, it does a hard 90-degree angle a couple times, and you know, so it can, but not 8-track. It was very delicate in the stresses that were on it. So it was a good.
I had boxes of 8-track tapes, and I think I only had to take maybe a couple of them apart to repair the tapes in them. Whereas with the cassette tapes, oh Lord, have mercy, he's always taking them things apart and having to splice them and fix them. They was always disintegrating and giving you grief. But now that was back in the day when music was music, and we listened to things like Benny and the Jets, and we listened to Carly Simon, and we listened to CCR, AC/DC.
How many songs were on an 8-track? What's the play time for an 8-track file format?
Gosh, I don't even remember.
The 45 records, you know, the smaller vinyls, we had Joe Walsh's Life's Been Good to Me. He meant life's been good to me so far. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That's when I think of 45, I think of Joe Walsh. Life's been good to me. I'm making records, my family don't make.
Now, my mom had a big collection of the small ones, but I'd like to get the albums. I always got the 33 and thirds. And
I'm looking up the 8-track. I must know.
Gas station's heading out. I'll say hey to him. Glad you dropped in. Hope you enjoyed the chat.
So we'll put.
Hey, Chromostorm Arts just strolled in. Hey, Amanda. Well, I'm finer than frog here and twice as wiry.
80 minutes. You can get 80 minutes on an 8-track, I think.
Yeah, my first car was a 1973 Chevelle Malibu Sports Coupe. Cost $2,300 brand new off the showroom floor. You can't even look at anything on the showroom floor for $2,300 now.
Right.
They won't let you in the door. I remember back in the early 80s, my husband wanted to buy me a new vehicle, and he took me around in car lots, and would drive me through car lots to see what I was really interested in, and they had the prices written on the windshields. And some kind of, that white chalk soap or whatever it is, that they write things on vehicles with.
Right.
And I'm looking at all these numbers on these windshields as we go down through there. And I asked him, I said, what in the world are the numbers on the windshields of those cars? Because it looks like somebody's social security number or something they put on there. And he started laughing. He says, honey, That is the price of the car.
Too many digits. Skywriter wouldn't have enough
Are they
smoke.
kidding me?
Wow.
Yeah. And now that was in the early 80s. You can imagine what kind of shock I'd go into today.
Oh man, I tell you what, I go to, sometimes they have cars at the baseball stadium, as an advertisement. They pull in, a car in the concession area, and you look at this price tags. I'm like, who would pay this much money for a car? It's obscene.
Yeah.
It's obscene how much cars can go. Even little sedans, like a Lexus small little sedan. Holy cow.
When I bought my last one, and I've still got it today, it's the 2011 Ford F-350 cargo van. And I drive that place everywhere I got to go. It's huge. It's like driving a bus. But I could fit an elephant in there if I needed to haul one.
Does it get 6 miles to the gallon?
It gets 12.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't drive it far when I drive it. But,
do you coast a lot, drop it in neutral?
Yep. I coast a lot in it. I look for hills that I can go down, and then I look, for another way to come home so I don't have to go up that hill. But it loves gasoline. And it's one, it'll burn the what they call it, hybrid fuel, the E80, whatever they call that stuff, the ethanol stuff. Okay, yeah. But trying to find a gas station that sells it is like pulling teeth. They used to have one here in town, and then they stopped selling it when it got to be about the same price as gasoline. I guess it was, futile to continue to do that. But but people asked me when I got it, I said, well, it's like this. If I ever do end up homeless, at least I'll have a place to live. But yeah, I've had that thing now. I bought it in 2012 and paid it off. So, it's paid for. I can't see going out and trading it off. It's only got 35,000 miles on it, and it's a 2011. So I'm thinking it may very well last me the rest of my life, no more than I drive. But yeah, if I ever end up homeless, I will have a place to live.
Huge van.
You can't do that in a sports car. You got to think ahead.
Now, Shelly wants me to tell a joke. I wrote Shelly a letter and gave her a sticker, and there was a joke in the letter, and I can't remember it. I asked her to tell me the first line, and she says, touch your nose. That's a hint. No, I'm not getting it. Sorry, Shelly. Denise is here. Mendel.
Denise, Metal in the house.
Metal. Okay. Hello. Hi. I'm Matt. I am Brenda's friend from Awesome Wood Things.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep Matt up on the screen because he's prettier than me.
Come on now. I'm only half as good looking as you. What are you talking about?
She said something about a booger.
Oh, okay. So how do you make a tissue dance? You put a little boogie in it. Put a little boogie in it. That's how you get a tissue to dance.
She kind of gave away the end of it.
Yeah, well, I'm so thick I couldn't remember it. Yeah, she was dealing with some personal struggles, so I thought I would cheer her up by telling her a funny joke. In the letter, I'd mail physical mail, like you know what that is, like an actual piece of paper.
Yeah, I get one of those every once in a while. It ain't often anymore. Mostly it's junk stuff that comes in the mailbox. I always refer to it every day when I go out the mailbox. I got to go clear the junk mail out of the box.
I'm sending out stickers.
Cool.
So I have these Awesome Wood Things stickers. So if you want one, send me a message or drop me a comment on one of my videos on Awesome Wood Things, and I will mail you a sticker in the mail.
I'll do it.
Continental United States, please.
Because I'm collecting them, and whenever I get one, then I'll mail out one of mine. Yeah, I got to get a fancier design.
Some people don't have stickers, and that's fine. They'll just get mine, and sometimes we swap them.
I'd never heard of it until Shelly brought it up, but put the camera over. I made these up. See, the light's glaring on it, but it's got my name and it's got my Etsy channel on there, and then it says Brenda's Crafty, be like Brenda on the bottom of them. But I made these up off of Avery. I just downloaded their pattern thing off their site and ordered some of their labels and printed them out with the laser printer. So I do have some now, but I had never heard of channel stickers until Shelly brought it up to me, and I'm like, well, what's that? And so she explained it, and I said, well, I can try to figure out how to do that, which, you know, took me like a week because me being technically challenged.
Yeah. Oh, I got someone busted me. So someone's subbed to me, or we call it bus. Thank you, Denise.
Bust.
Yeah, if you could give me a like on my X-Carve video. It's the second video. I'm trying to collect likes to win a contest where likes are half the judging criteria.
I'll put the link right there in there again.
Okay. I appreciate the sub. I'll take a sub, and I subbed you back, of course. But yeah, I need that like on that video because the more likes I get, the more chances I will have to win. And then if I win, I'm going to start a business making kinetic art sculptures. Wouldn't that be freaking awesome?
Very cool. Very cool. Sound effects and more by Madeline Collette is in the house. Hello to you. Rockstar Gamer in the house. Hello to you.
Only 205. Now, see, he wrote the word SUBS and it came through. So I think you got lucky.
Yeah, I went through that time. Sometimes it goes through and sometimes it's got to be approved. And, you know, who knows what their algorithm. I think if you just put SUB, that's when it really kicks.
I am the 206th subscriber for Rockstar Gamer.
There you go.
Awesome with things. Gotcha. Sound effects and more. Hello. I think I'm already subscribed to Chroma Storm Arts.
Lenny No came in. Hey to you. Yeah, Matt particularly needs likes on that one video. I put it up there. I'll put it in again. So you can click on that one and give him a like on that one. That's the one that's in the competition.
Oh, Lenny showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Lenny's one of my regulars over here on this channel. Good to see you in there, Lenny.
I'm Matt, Brenda's friend. Awesome Wood Things channel. We're just chatting.
This is just, you know, just treat this like your home, Matt. I mean, you know, help yourself to bologna in the refrigerator, introduce yourself to everybody. You know, don't depend on me, dude. I'm so doggone tired from this weekend. I don't even know who the hell I am.
No, I'll be out of show this week, so I'll be going through what you're going through 7 days from now.
Yeah, in a week, you'll know what it's like.
I'll be zombified on Monday the 21st.
It was funny because I am well versed in a lot of different topics that had to do with this show. This was actually a fiber festival where there's spinners and weavers and felters and knitters and crocheters and all that. Well, wood is also a fiber. So the carvers were there. And I was with the Carvers Club. So, you know, I had my wooden stuff out there, but I'm so well versed in all these other things because I do them all that people was coming up to me and asking me questions about felting. And I try to teach people as best I can about things. If they ask me a question, I don't run around, you know, trying to throw around like I know everything that there is to know, but I'm well versed in a lot of different things. So this lady is asking me about felting, and she said she had a shawl that she wanted to felt. And I asked her first off if it was wool, because you're not going to felt an acrylic product. And she said, yes, it is. And I said, okay, well, that's a good place to start. So I'm explaining to her the process of the felting. And she says, well, now, if I wanted to change the color of the shawl, when do I put the spray paint on it?
Oh my gosh.
I know the look on my face had to be priceless. And I'm saying, excuse me? And she repeated it. And I said, well, honey, I would never put spray paint on it.
You don't spray paint mahogany.
I if you're going to change the color of it, you want to use dye. So I'm explaining to her about all the different kinds of dye that she can use on it. And I said, but never, never, ever, ever use spray paint to change the color of a garment. That's, it'll change it, but it won't be wearable when you get through with it.
Brenda, I have to step out for 5 minutes. My dog needs to go out. So if you can,
all right,
just for a moment.
Yep, that's one of the things you got to take care of.
Yep. She needs it. All right, I'll be right back.
He's got his earplugs now. We can say anything about him. That dog is going to leave him a present in his shoe. That reminded me, though, of the time when I was selling animals. I lived on a farm, and I'd go to these things. It was like a flea market. They called it a swap meet, and you took animals to the swap meet. And I had rabbits. And so it was up in Michigan, and I lived in Ohio. I drove all the way up to Michigan. And so that meant I left the house about 3 o'clock in the morning, drove and, until like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, got there, got all set up. I had a tent, I had tables, I had these cages full of rabbits. I pulled everything out. All my rabbits were earmarked. So they had pedigrees and, everything was marked. I had the little coop cage tags on everything, to tell what the rabbit was. And, it was very professional looking setup. Get it all set up by like 8:30 in the morning. And I'm sitting there, waiting as people start strolling through. I'm watching people walk up and down the aisles. People would stop and ask me questions. And every once in a while I'd sell a rabbit, and this one lady comes up, and it was about 10:30 in the morning. And she wants to know about a lop-eared rabbit that I had there for sale. And so I'm telling her about the rabbit, and I pulled the pedigree on it and told her what all it was out of, and was explaining everything to her. And she decided she wanted the rabbit. So I had a box there, and I pulled the box out and, got the rabbit all situated in the box for her and got her the pedigree and everything taken care of. And just as she's about to walk off with this rabbit, she looks at me with God as my witness. I can't make this up. And she says, "When does it start laying eggs?" And I said, "Excuse me?" She said, "When does it start laying eggs?" So I said, "Well, okay, I don't know where you got under the impression that they lay eggs, but rabbits don't lay eggs. Rabbits have babies." So I go into the whole spiel about, the gestation period and how they have to have a nest box, and they pull hair, and they have their little babies, and they raise their little babies. And about 6 weeks later, the little babies come out of the nest. They're hopping all around. They start in on feed, and all this. And she says, "Well, I was sure that they laid eggs." And she says, "That's how they show it on TV." Oh, she watched one too many Cadbury commercials, I think. And I thought back on that and started laughing, because I'm thinking, if I had been prepared for that question, I would have told her, "There's a shade tree over yonder. If you just take that box over there under the shade tree, here in just a little bit, because they lay about noon, you could just sit over there under that shade tree with that rabbit, and it'll lay an egg in that box." I could have sat there and watched her for a couple hours waiting for that rabbit to lay an egg and amused myself.
Folks are back.
There he is. He's back. I was telling him about the time the lady asked me when I was selling rabbits about when they started laying eggs.
Oh, no. Well, with the Easter Bunny, come on. You've been sold a bill of goods there. That's what that's all I'll say. Oh, some new folks came in. JD. What's that? Rena?
JD Night 7 in the house. Rihanna's in the house.
I'm Brenda's friend, Matt, from Awesome Wood Things. We're just chatting when I'm not taking my dog out.
I'll drop this link again. Matt is in a contest, and I just dropped that link in there. It's a video of his on YouTube that he needs likes on for this contest that he's in. If y'all would be so kind as just to pull up that link and drop him a like there on his video, it would be much appreciated. Yes, Walker Outdoors in the house. Hey, Mike. Mike's my YouTube husband.
Oh, yes. Walker Outdoor. The first hangout I was on, you said everyone has to subscribe to Walker Outdoors, and I did.
There you go.
That day.
Somebody asked me the other day if Mike was my husband. I said, "Well, if he is, his wife's going to be surprised."
You're getting compliments on your hat.
Yeah, they're liking the hat. I'm rocking the Mad Hatter hat. I got started wearing this over on Green Bay Wacky Show one night. I was on his panel, and everybody's wearing hats but me. And they said, "You got to get a hat." Well, my Mad Hatter hat was sitting right here on the shelf, so I just reached over and put it on, and it's been a hit ever since.
I love it. I love it.
I'm all about Alice in Wonderland here. My whole living room's done in Alice in Wonderland.
That's a great franchise.
So I had to have a Hatter hat to go with my Alice in Wonderland theme.
Nice.
Well, has everybody got all their bussing up and down? Y'all rode the bus, rang the bell? You need me to make up some more rhymes about buses for you?
I think they got it. Bus spelled backwards.
And
you know,
wheels on the bus go round and round.
It's great to get subscribers, but what's really needed is the support. Yeah. Engaging with the content, and that helps.
Yeah, and showing up. Showing up is a big issue. Ever since, now maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the impression I'm under or something, but ever since they changed all these rules and went to the 4,000 watch hours and all that, to me, everything has gotten so tense on YouTube. Everybody is in a panic. Everybody's rushing and in a big hurry. It's like, okay, we've got to hurry up and like this and comment on that and move on to the next thing. And watch time has not been improving. It has been going down unless you have people that are actually doing playing your videos in the background and all that for you. Watch time really seems to have fell off quite a bit, and not just for me, but for a lot of people, because of the chaotic feeling that YouTube has given to everything with this new rule.
I think with the new requirements, people are rushing and shortcutting, and their content isn't as good, which means people aren't watching the whole way through.
Yeah.
You gotta get engagement, and you have to get people watching. And if they watch all of your video, that's much better for the channel owner than watching part of the video.
Right.
So you want to get into that great space of suggested videos. You can't do that if people are jumping off your video halfway through. They will not put you there. Like they need to know that a lot of people are clicking on. A lot of people have seen your icon, your thumbnail. A lot of people have seen your thumbnail, and a larger percentage of them have clicked it. And then once they've clicked it, they've watched most or all of it. You nail those two things, the algorithm will reward you tenfold. But it's very hard to do.
Well, I've seen a trend myself in the videos since they announced all this back in January, of people either doing live streams that go on, there's been marathon live streams, 6-8 hours at a time, or they do 1 to 2 minute videos. The ones in the middle seem to have kind of fell away. There used to be a lot more of them. There would be 10 minutes or 20-minute videos, and those have fell off. And it's more of, it's got to be a real fast, rapid thing because they're not going to be here long. So we want to view if it's only for a couple minutes, or we want to try to pull them into a marathon where they're going to stay there for 6 or 8 hours. So I don't know. I mean, that's just what I've noticed. Maybe nobody else has noticed that.
Yeah, it's a different, the environment has changed for creators and watchers since the new requirements, and there's a lot of adjusting going on. Al's asking me if I'm proposing. I told him, I said, will you be mine, Al? Indeed, Captain, you are in gold and I am in blue right now. Yeah, I'm wearing the captain's yellow. How about that? Oh, and then look at this. Al, I have this at the ready here. I have something for you. I don't know if you can see this. This is my little communicator
pin.
Pin.
Bait me up, Scotty.
So that hangs on my little my lamp here, and I look at it every day. It's actually a lapel pin for your sport jacket.
Yeah.
But I love me
Shelley
some
wanted to know who my favorite character is. I think out of Alice in Wonderland, it would be between the Cheshire Cat and the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know. Maybe there's a third one. We'll throw that caterpillar in there because that caterpillar's cool.
Everyone's smoking opium.
Yeah. You got to love the caterpillar. Laid back cat now, I'll tell you what. But yeah, the Hatter, he had his own thing going on there with the hat. He was really cool. But then the Cheshire Cat, up in the tree and disappearing cat, all you can see is the smile. There's days, let me tell you.
That book was ahead of its time, that's for sure.
There's days I want to be that cat.
We're all mad here.
But then all the best people are.
Isn't there a piece of trivia? The line in pop culture is "we're all mad here," but I think the actual dialogue is different. I don't think it's actually those exact words. I think it's a little.
We're all quite mad here.
Is that the real line? Okay.
Yeah. We're all quite mad here, but then all the best people are.
Yeah. Everyone that has a tattoo, we're all mad here. It's like it's right in popular culture. It's wrong verbatim from the actual dialogue. Sorry for crushing everyone's dreams.
Yeah, she says the cat or the caterpillar. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite out of those because, all of them are so cool. Now, the rabbit, that poor rabbit, he just stressed. That is one stressed hair right there. That queen's got him jumping all over the place. And that queen, well, she's just too controlling.
Off with their heads. I think we have some new folks or DMs mix up. Did we say hello?
Oh, DM's in the house. Hey, DM.
Hi.
Glad to have you in there.
I'm Matt, Brenda's friend from Awesome Wood Things. We're just chatting. We're
hanging out, and I'll drop this link again for anybody that has missed it or didn't see it or whatever. That is the link to Matt's YouTube video that he would really appreciate getting a like on. So if you could drop over there and give him a like on that video, that would be awesome.
Awesome.
He's in a contest, and getting likes on that's 50% of the job there. So help him get that in the judging. Poor Mike, he's having trouble with his headphones. Well, Mike, you haven't wanted to hear any of the things we've said about you anyway. It's snowing over at Mike's. It wasn't supposed to snow here today, but it did, so I'm blaming Mike. The link is broken.
Let me try it. No, it's working for me.
Okay, he says it's working.
Oh, well. Is what it is.
Yeah, try it again because the link works.
Or you can go to the triple dot next to Awesome Wood Things and say, go to channel, and then pick it up there. It's the second thing I published. Or is it the... No, it's the first thing I published. Sorry, I have a
kinetic sculpture business, right?
Yes, wooden kinetic sculptures. Think grandfather clocks, but all exploded out on the wall for all the gears in glorious detail.
Okay, I've grabbed it straight from the source. I'll drop it in there again.
Thank you.
Try that.
Well, JD, someone said it worked. Yeah, JD Knight said left a like on your video. Thank you. Am I subbed?
Okay, cool.
Let me make sure I am. Trying to sub everyone I can tonight. Nope. 1.2 thousand subs. JD Knight 7. I am the 1,201st subscriber.
I think everybody in there that's in the chat room subbed to me, but if you're not, would you please? I'm having one dickens of a time getting over 1,900 all week. I have been flirting with it.
Oh, really?
It'll get right up there, 1898, and then they slap me back down. And then he'd climb back up, and then they slap me back down. I'm having just one heck of a time. So if y'all could just push me right over that 1900 mark, I'd really appreciate that because I'm getting tired.
One word, awesome with things, joust. Oh, Shelly must have saw my joust video. That's a coin-operated video game from the 80s that I love. It's my most favorite video game that takes coins in an arcade.
Lord, I remember video games from the 80s, and here's my memory on it. My stepson lived out in California, and he was, probably 8, 9 years old. And he would come to stay with us for a few weeks in the summertime. And so one year he shows up and he's all about Nintendo. And he wanted it hooked up to my TV. Well, back then, I don't know how it is now because now I just have a TV. I don't have all the stuff hooked up to it. But I had a VCR hooked up to it. As a matter of fact, I think I had 2 hooked up to it. And I had a whole bunch of stuff hooked up to my TV. And he wanted this Nintendo hooked up, which meant all my stuff had to be unhooked so his stuff could be hooked up to it. And he's going on and on about this game, something about dragons. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not all about video games, but if it's got some dragons in it, that might be pretty cool. I'd kind of like to see this. So I hook up the Nintendo for him, and I did it. He was in bed that night, and he gets up the next morning, and he's rooting, buddy. He finished his breakfast so he can get to playing this video game. Oh, woohoo! I'm like, man, this must be something to see this game. So we get in the living room, and I'm sitting there, and he grabs up the controls and fires this thing up. And there's these 2 dudes on the screen, kind of cartoony dudes, and they are beating the hell out of each other with knives and chains, and they're kicking the fire out of each other and just going on. And this went on for about 15 minutes. And I'm sitting there just taking this all in. And he's got that controller and it's just all over the place. And he's having him a time with this game. And I'm just sitting there looking. Finally, I said to him, how long does this go on? He said, what do you mean? I said, with these 2 trying to kill each other or whatever they're doing there, when does the dragons come in? He says, what dragons? I said, didn't you tell me the name of this game? I forget what he had rattled off, but I said something about dragons, and he says, well, yeah. I said, so where's the dragons?
It's the final boss.
And he said, there are no dragons. This is it.
Crazy.
I said, okay, this is over. I said, there's no way that you need to be burning up what few brain cells you got, messing with some game where 2 people are beating the fire out of each other constantly. And there's nothing to it except 2 people beating the fire out of each other. That is what you're telling me.
Dragon Ball Z was the name of it. I don't know what it was. But yeah.
I mean, Lord, it's been, 30 years ago, so I don't remember. But I do know it said something about dragons. And he says, no, this is it. It's just these 2 guys. And, I'm like, no. I said, that's not how we're spending our vacation here. No, you're not going to do this. And much to his dismay, the Nintendo went back in the box. I said, you taking that back to Mama's house and you play with it all you want when you get home. But we're going to do some more productive things than this here. We were going to museums, natural history, educational thing. We went to the zoo.
Wow. Yeah. No, those games can suck you in for sure.
Yeah, I thought if he's going to spend all year with his mama burning up his brain cells on that, he needs to do some educational things when he gets out in the real world.
Yeah. Oh, my.
But that was my stint with video games right there. I saw all I needed to see with video games. Yeah, Shelley said she's going to have to leave at the top of the hour. I understand. Yeah, I'm probably going to shut it down about 10-2. That'll put me on here about 2 hours. I think everybody's pretty much had time to get themselves bussed back and forth by then. So I certainly understand.
Thank you for the support over on Awesome Wood Things. I'll get everyone back. I think I got most, but I still have a few follow-ups. I'll do that after the show.
I certainly hope that helped you out some.
It did. It has climbed over the 2 hours we've been together. I really appreciate that.
Cool.
You know,
cool.
it could come down to 6 likes could be the difference between me and someone else. So, I mean, that could really do it.
You never know, and every bit of help that you can get sure is, well, better than nothing.
It shows the sponsor that I can engage with a large public, and they're looking for that. I mean, they don't want to invest in me and then not get promotion out of it. So
right.
And I do like the company. They're a startup company. They're fast growing. And they brought a very expensive item into the realm of affordability.
Yeah.
Because these machines used to be 5 times as much and completely out of the. Now, not everyone, but they've really helped the community with their product, and I like that. So I would love to win a product from them and support them.
Yeah,
and help me start my business.
Yeah, those CNC machines are awesome.
They're truly little miracle workers, man. They're just amazing that people can cobble them together.
Mm-hmm.
Take that machine code and run that router. It's amazing. X, Y, Z. It's like you can make circles. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a manual die cutter for doing paper craft. It'll do other things. It has other dies that comes with it that you can do thicker things like veneers, or you could do leather, as long as it's not too thick, with steel rule dies and things of that nature. That's the closest that I've come, although I have seen those, they call them crickets.
Yes. I was just going to say you should get a vinyl cutter machine, not a die cutter. Die cutters are cool, but vinyl cutters.
Yeah.
That's a CNC too. It's a computer numeric control, CNC. Yeah.
A lot of people use those crickets for cutting their quilt patterns and things out with. Those are pretty cool. I would like to see them come out with a cricket that will do thicker things like veneers.
Okay. Yep. This piece of artwork right here, I don't know if I'm targeted, but that has vinyl letters or vinyl artwork from the Cricut. Oh, you have a Cricut machine. Okay. It also has CNC'd acrylic. Anyway, yeah, no. Well, I have a vinyl cutter too. Well, my wife has a vinyl cutter. She's a scrapbooker, and it's a great machine. And it's sort of like the baby CNC carving machine,
right?
Even though it uses a X-Acto knife blade, which has stayed miraculously sharp with hundreds of hours of time. I don't know. It must be like a titanium blade. It never dulls. And we have spares. Cool. We've never dropped a spare blade in that thing once.
Huh. That's cool.
And they're easy to use too, Brenda. You could do it.
Yeah, I've seen several people do videos using those crickets, and it's pretty cool. But I'm thinking, okay, how acceptable is it into all the different realms that I'm in? Or should I wait until they come out with one that's a little better, that'll do a little more? Because, as soon as I buy one, that's when they come out with one that's a little better, that'll do.
With the low price point of entry, you're safe jumping in. And once you have a tool like that, you would be surprised at what you come up with to use it. Like, you don't have to have a full flushed out vision of how it's going to be used. You will think of things to use it for. And when you combine it with other mediums, like, that's the thing. People that go all in on a tool, if you combine, vinyl cutting with CNC carving, with traditional woodworking, then you synergize. It's like 1 + 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3. It's like, it's more than the sum of its parts type of thing. And you could integrate vinyl cutting into your crafts on an epic scale. And for $199 start point, I mean, it's not cheap, but you could get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. and they're not hard to run at all. They need no maintenance. They need no tweaking, and the software is online. You need a browser with an internet and a USB cable, and you're ready to rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to give that some thought. I've just kind of been waiting, because they come out with one, then they come out with another one, and I don't know, there's like 6 different ones that they've come out with, and I'm like, okay, you come out with that many, now you know that you're not going to stop there. You're going to keep going, and I want to see what the next one is that you come up with. What is it going to do that these other ones don't do?
The last upgrade was something so dorky. It was like you can do 2 types of attachments in one instead of one. So instead of having a blade, because they do ones with a marker, they could put a marker in it, or you could put a blade in it. And then the upgrade was, you could load them up both at the same. Like, who cares? It wasn't a huge leap forward in functionality. And I suspect maybe the next thing might be a small leap too. And with $200, if you buy it and there's a great upgrade a week later, put it on eBay. Sell it. There's a market out there. But for you, I don't recommend it to everyone, but for you, Brenda, I think you'd really get a lot out of it. Can't do everything. Yeah. When you mix it with the other tools and mediums you work with, it would be nice.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really enjoy about my eclectic ability with my crafts. And I don't know, if other people have really caught on to that or not, but I will try to see how I can get fiber crafts to mix in with paper crafts, to mix in with wood crafts, to mix in with the wood burning or the engraving, or, how can I get all these things, or at least several things, to mix into one medium to produce a piece of art that is unique.
So that's a great strategy. So, you don't have to be the best of the best at any one thing. People that are good at many things, it just produces stuff on such a better level. I swear, 1 + 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3, Yeah. Same thing with sports. My son wasn't the best batter.
There's a moose that I engraved on a plaque, and then I acrylic painted it. So you've got woodcraft, you've got engraving craft, and you've got painting, all in one piece.
Yep. Very nice.
And I don't know if people really pick up on that. When I take things to the Carbon Club that I have done this to, they look at me like, are you crazy? Why would you paint a piece of wood? Just let the beauty in the wood shine through it. And I'm like, but you are combining the different art forms into one piece of art. It's like it goes over their head. They don't appreciate the different art forms.
Yeah, some people won't, but
yeah, if it was painted like a 5-year-old had gone at it with a box of crayons, then I would say, okay, maybe that wasn't the brightest thing in the world. But I try to make it look as realistic as possible. I even put the brush strokes in for the fur and everything on it, put the shading in and all that. So,
looks great. That would look better than just an outline of the animal,
Yeah, I would think, but
you have wood showing through. It's not like you covered all the wood.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're talking about.
So, some of it I think gets lost on some people where you're combining the different forms of art into one piece. But you can overdo it too. If I was adding yarn to that, or trying to put steampunk into it with some chains and gears, and you can get it too busy with too many things involved. But I try to go in multiples of 3s and 5s, maybe 7s. But you always want to do it in an odd number, because that's what draws the eyes to things. So, it's interesting dealing with this. Well, Matt, we're coming up on the top of the hour here, and I think everybody has pretty much done what they need to do. The chats stay up for a while. If y'all, haven't got done what you need to do, you can keep chatting here after I shut it down. But I really appreciate Matt coming on with me, and all you folks in the chat room coming in and spending some time with us. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. And please go over, if you haven't had a chance yet, go over, and we'll drop this link one more time in the chat for you. If you haven't made it over there to Matt's video, get over there and drop a like on that video for him, help him with his contest, and sub up to him while you're there. He does some real interesting things over there on his channel. El Padre came in the room. We'll say hey to you. We're about to shut her down here, but hope that you can keep the chat up there and make friends with some of these folks that's in here.
Well, thanks for having me on, Brenda. This was a blast. I enjoyed the conversation, and it sounds like we took some people on some crazy rides during our time. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, they never know where they're going to go when they hook up with me.
And we got Star Trek in. That's a plus.
Y'all check out all the stuff there in the description of the video. It'll tell you all about my Patreon page, my YouTube page, and my Twitter page, and my Twitch page, and my Instagram page, and my Etsy store, and everything that's in there. It gives a donation link for the PayPal thing and all that if you feel so inclined to try to contribute so that I can keep buying craft supplies and all that. And with that, there's only one thing left to say. Brenda's crafty. Be like Brenda. Bye.